The gavel drops and the room waits. The clerk announces the matter. Before counsel can speak, Justice Barrett cuts through the script. Representative Crockett, you have asked to be heard. Then be clear. On what authority do you demand a court to answer a politician? Crockett does not pause. On the authority of the people who sent me here, she says. On the authority that says no chamber, no bench, no office is above an honest question. Barrett replies at once. An honest question is not the same as a televised accusation. Are you here for law or for headlines? For truth, Crockett fires back. And if the truth stings, that is not my fault. The gallery hums. Reporters lean in. Barrett's voice holds the room. Then speak your truth, but do not mistake volume for evidence. My truth is a record, Crockett says. It shows selective standards, special doors for some, locked doors for others. It shows that when power is comfortable, justice moves slowly, and when power is threatened, justice sprints. Barrett answers, steady and direct. If you claim bias, name it. If you claim injury, show it. If you claim a breach, cite it. The court does not move on innuendo. Crockett lists dates, votes, statements, and rulings by title. These are not rumors, these are entries, minutes, citations, and outcomes. The pattern is visible to anyone willing to look. Barrett turns the point. Patterns can be painted by those who pick their colors. We deal in standards that outlive any news cycle. Are you prepared to test your claims against those standards? I am, Crockett says, but I want the same test applied to you. A rustle rolls through the benches. Barrett does not retreat. Then let us agree on the rule. Equal scrutiny, equal burden, equal proof. That is precisely what has been missing, Crockett replies. Equal proof, Barrett presses. Then begin with the strongest example, not the most viral clip, not the loudest post, your best fact. Right now. Crockett answers with a single case name and a line from the opinion. She quotes the promise of impartial review and the later carve-out that narrowed its reach. That sentence is a door, she says. It opened for one and shut for many. Barrett replies, you argue from consequence, not from principle. Consequence can mislead. Principle holds when fashion fades. Crockett counters, principle without consistency is performance. Silence follows, brief but heavy. Barrett speaks again. Then here is my question. Are you willing to accept a result that defeats your side if the principle is sound and the process is clean? Crockett does not blink. Yes, if you can prove the process is clean. Barrett answers with a line that feels like a challenge and a vow. Then we will test the process in daylight. The room exhales. The frame is set. One side demands speed and sunlight, the other demands proof and restraint. The exchange is no longer a clash of personalities, it is a collision of definitions. What counts as fairness, what counts as courage, what counts as law. And before anyone can settle into their seats, Barrett signals for the first witness and Crockett signals for the first document, and the court braces for a question that will not sit quietly. The courtroom is packed beyond capacity. Every bench filled with lawyers, aides, and reporters scribbling notes. The Chief Justice watches silently, but all eyes remain locked on Barrett and Crockett. Their names alone carry weight, but together they create an electricity that no one can ignore. Justice Barrett embodies the institution, precise, deliberate, and unwavering in tone. Her words fall like stone, each crafted to remind the room that this is the nation's highest court, not a stage for grandstanding. She speaks as if every sentence is destined to be cited for decades. Opposite her stands Jasmine Crockett, who entered the chamber not as a lawyer, but as a legislator unafraid to break convention. She carries herself with sharp defiance, representing voices that feel drowned out by legal formality. For her, this courtroom is not only a place of judgment, but also a platform to expose imbalance. The tension lies not only in the clash of two individuals, but in the institutions they symbolize. Barrett represents the judiciary, cloaked in robes, bound by precedent, and claiming neutrality. Crockett channels the raw force of politics, accountable to voters, driven by urgency, and unafraid of confrontation. Journalists whisper about the rare spectacle. Rarely does a justice engage so directly with a member of Congress, and rarely does a member of Congress hold her ground in the austere atmosphere of the Supreme Court. Some whisper that Crockett is reckless, others say she is fearless. Barrett's allies on the bench glance at one another, uneasy at the break in protocol. Crockett's supporters in the gallery lean forward, hungry for her to pierce what they see as an untouchable veil. One reporter mutters into a recorder, "This isn't just a legal proceeding anymore, it's a duel between two branches of power." And in that recognition lies the real context. The courtroom is not just a chamber of marble and law books. It has become the stage where authority itself is on trial, where one justice defends the fortress of precedent and one representative hurls a challenge on behalf of the restless crowd beyond those walls. Every word is captured, every exchange replayed instantly across social media. Hashtags form in real time, echoing through millions of devices outside. The audience inside the courtroom feels it first, but the world outside is already watching, dissecting, and taking sides. The scene has been set. Barrett, the guardian of law, against Crockett, the voice of dissent. Two figures locked in a moment larger than themselves, their clash destined to ripple through the nation. Barrett leans forward slightly, her tone sharpened. "Representative Crockett, this court has no interest in theatrics. If you intend to challenge precedent, then anchor your argument in law, not outrage." Crockett does not hesitate. Outrage is born when the law is applied unequally. Outrage is what fills the streets when citizens see two standards of justice, one for the powerful and another for everyone else. The room tightens. Barrett fires back. "That is rhetoric, not evidence." Crockett lifts a folder and places it on the podium with a deliberate thud. "Evidence is here, case after case where rulings leaned in favor of wealth, influence, or political allegiance. Ordinary citizens are told to wait, to be patient, to trust. But trust erodes when patterns repeat." Barrett's eyes narrow. "Patterns are not proof. You risk misleading the public with selective memory." Crockett pushes harder. "Selective memory? Then explain why rulings shift when the same principles are tested against different names. Why are protesters treated as threats while corporate interests are sheltered under constitutional umbrellas?" Gasps ripple through the gallery. The words cut close to ongoing debates outside these walls. Barrett holds her ground. "Because the Constitution is not a weapon for popularity. It is a shield for principles that may protect even those we dislike. If you seek a court that bends with anger, you will have no law left at all." But Crockett is unshaken. "What use is law if it bends only for those with power? If fairness cannot be felt by the public, then justice is nothing more than ceremony." Barrett's voice deepens, every syllable calculated. "Justice is not a feeling. It is a discipline. It is forged by restraint." Crockett fires back instantly. "Restraint that silences the weak is not discipline, it is complicity." The words hit like an arrow. The gallery erupts in murmurs. The Chief Justice raises a hand for silence, but the tension is already burning too bright. Barrett, refusing to yield, strikes again. "And tell us plainly, Representative, do you accuse this court of betraying its oath?" The pause that follows is heavy. Crockett meets Barrett's stare without blinking. "Yes," she says. "When justice becomes selective, the oath is broken." The silence that follows is deafening. Reporters scratch furiously. Court officials exchange nervous glances. The rising conflict has reached a threshold. What began as sharp words has now become a direct challenge to the legitimacy of the court itself. And with both women refusing to step back, the next exchange promises to ignite the chamber beyond control. Justice Barrett's eyes lock on Crockett, her voice dropping into a lower, deliberate register. "Then let the record reflect. A sitting representative has accused this court of betrayal." She pauses, letting the weight of the words fill the chamber. "Do you understand what you are declaring?" Crockett does not flinch. "I understand perfectly." What I am declaring is that loyalty to the people must be greater than loyalty to precedent when precedent itself shields injustice. The air in the courtroom feels like glass ready to shatter. Barrett leans forward, delivering her strike. You confuse passion with principle, and if you cannot tell the difference, then you are unfit to demand answers from this bench. The gallery gasps, a mix of shock and awe at the bluntness of her words. Crockett's reply is instantaneous, her voice cutting through the echo. And if you cannot see the difference between discipline and denial, then this court is unfit to call itself impartial. The words explode like thunder. The chamber is stunned. The silence that follows is almost violent. Reporters stop mid-sentence, pens hanging in the air. Even seasoned justices shift uncomfortably in their chairs. Barrett, for the first time, hesitates. The strike she delivered has been met with a counterblow that no one expected, a direct attack not just on her, but on the court itself. Then, breaking the silence, Crockett presses forward. This is not theater. This is the reckoning of power. You may wear robes, but robes do not make truth. Truth belongs to the people, and the people will no longer accept silence wrapped in authority. The audience erupts. Half an applause, half an outrage. The bailiff calls for order, but the noise swells. News alerts flash across phones in real time, carrying Crockett's words across the nation. Barrett raises her hand, commanding silence. Her next words are measured, heavy with consequence. If you wish to challenge the court's authority, do so with courage enough to accept the fallout. History will not shield reckless tongues. Crockett answers with finality. Then let history record that I spoke when silence was demanded. Let history record that I did not bow. The chamber freezes. Two women, one robed in the weight of tradition, the other armed with raw defiance, stand locked in a battle that has shaken the foundation of the court. No ruling has been issued, yet the nation has already received its verdict. This was no ordinary hearing. This was a confrontation that will be replayed, dissected, and argued for years to come. The echoes of the clash linger in the chamber long after the shouting stops. Reporters rush from the courtroom, already dictating headlines into their phones. The words betrayal, unfit, and reckoning pulse across the airwaves. Social media floods with clips that spread like wildfire, each side claiming victory, each side stunned by the sheer audacity of the moment. Justice Barrett sits upright, her expression carved in stone. She has not yielded, nor has she apologized. In her silence lies the weight of an institution that believes time will always favor the steady hand. She offers no closing remark, no final retort, only a gaze that reminds the nation that the court does not answer to the applause or the jeers outside its walls. Jasmine Crockett, however, does not wait for permission. She steps back from the podium, her voice ringing with a tone that is both weary and unbreakable. If courage is punished, then let me be punished. But let no one say that I was silent when justice was bent. The audience stirs once more, but this time the sound is not chaotic. It is a collective recognition that something irreversible has just taken place. This was not a routine hearing. This was a fracture line carved in public view, a reminder that even the highest bench can be shaken when challenged by raw conviction. Outside the marble columns, the nation splits instantly. Supporters of Barrett hail her as the defender of discipline, a shield against chaos. Admirers of Crockett proclaim her the voice of a restless generation, unafraid to pierce the silence that cloaks power. News anchors debate into the night, some calling the clash a dangerous erosion of respect, others naming it the birth of a new era of accountability. In truth, both sides are correct. The confrontation has left the court itself transformed, its solemn image cracked open before millions. What was once untouchable has been touched. What was once unquestioned has been challenged. And as the headlines race forward, one truth remains undeniable. History will remember this day. The day a justice confronted a legislator, the day a legislator struck back with fire, and the day the court of law became the court of the people. It will be remembered as more than an exchange of words. It will be remembered as a turning point, a testament that in the struggle between restraint and defiance, the nation itself stands as the ultimate jury.